Hey, everybody, welcome to EduMatch. So, we are here today with a special episode. I'm super excited because we get to talk to none other than my good friend, Dr. Will. Dr. Will, welcome back to EduMatch.
What up, Dr. Sarah? How you doing?
Good, good. How about yourself?
All right, just chilling.
All right, excellent, excellent. Super excited to talk to you today because you have something amazing to share with us. So I can't wait to dive into that. So, for those of you who don't know Dr. Will, then let me tell you a little bit about him, and trust me, you should get to know Dr. Will. So, Dr. Will is a recognized digital leader who's tapped into the power of mobile learning and developing engaging lessons that supports this Netflix generation of learners. Leveraging learning outside the confines of the classroom, Dr. Will is a proven speaker and presenter with experience in training and collaboration with peers, teachers, and other staff members. He's focused on using technology to provide students with greater agency over their learning. Dr. Will's mission is to remove technology as an impediment from teachers becoming innovators in their classroom. So, Dr. Will does so many amazing things. He facilitates a one-on-one Chromebook initiative for the Hattiesburg High School as well as Thames Elementary, and he works with over 500 teachers district-wide. He created the system for tracking and managing the repair of damaged Chromebooks. He also delivers some phenomenal professional learning opportunities through online courses and serves as an administrator for Schoology and a district administrator for Classworks, Odysseyware, Study Island, Reading Eggs, Nearpod, and School Status. And add to that, Dr. Will is the very first producer of an EduMatch documentary film, The Edupreneur. So hopefully y'all have heard of it. And if you haven't, then you're about to get really familiar with it. So welcome back, Dr. Will. So tell us a little bit about your background and who or what inspired you to go into education.
It happened. Divine intervention. Uh, I don't know how many know this, but I actually went to film school, and I had this dream of I was going to win an Oscar. I remember, I believe it was '92. I'm sitting in the theater to watch Boomerang, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, "This is what I'm going to do in my life. I'm going to make movies." And I did go to film school. And after I graduated, I happened to start substitute teaching with the idea in mind of I'm going to write this script. But I actually started working with kids. And after that, I was put on the track to where I am now.
Wow. And it's crazy how much our journeys like mirrored one another with the film school, absolutely, and just being in that different realm, but being able to bring our interest into the world of education and what we do right now. So speaking of that, then tell us a little bit about this awesome documentary that you've created, The Edupreneur. What is The Edupreneur, Dr. Will?
Wow. The Entrepreneur Making the Impact and the Income is a documentary that sort of it explores the lives and careers of 8 educational consultants. We talk about their successes, their challenges. We get into business stuff, whether it's niching down, branding, marketing, taxes, just a whole bunch of different things, including, how do they integrate their family life in and around what they're doing. So it was an interesting journey to be able to virtually sit down with all of these different voices.
Yeah, definitely. And you rocked it, my friend. Like seriously, there are some nuggets in there that when I watched it, I was like, "Whoa, did so and so really just say X, Y, and Z?" Just being very real and very just honest and transparent. I thought that was amazing.
Yeah, it was. I didn't know what to expect. Like I had something in my mind, but the first interview I did with Angela Myers, and she started talking, I was like, okay, this is going to be good. I knew that first interview. I said, "Ooh, it's going to be good." And then when you hit me to Abby, uh, wow! And it's just crazy watching over her interviews. And there was one part where she talks about how HR called her up and said, "Hey, why don't you go to the high school?" And she said, "High school? Are them kids from middle school gonna be there? Because I'm not doing that again." I was like, "Oh my gosh, did she say that?"
Oh my gosh. Yeah, Abby is hilarious. She is hilarious and so insightful. So, and I
Yeah,
mean,
so
yeah.
was like, wow. So I love how I humanize these people, right? Because a lot of these people, if you don't know them personally, and you just see them from Twitter or you see them for the conference, you see them always polished, right? You see them in the suits, the dresses, you see them on the big stage, the keynotes, the books, the book signing, but you don't, unless you know them, you don't know them. And in this documentary, you're able to see the other side of them. So it was awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. There were definitely some nuggets in there. So tell me, Dr. Will, what was your motivation for doing this?
It was honestly you,
Oh,
because I mean, I never thought that this would be possible. Like I always wanted to make a documentary, but I had sort of like, well, that's an older part of my life. Like this was never going to happen. But after I interviewed you on my podcast and you said, hey, you could do a documentary. And I said, what do you mean? Then I said, oh, okay, let's do this. I'm interested. So literally, that's how that came about, because I never even thought of doing a documentary, especially in the way that this documentary was actually done, using Zoom. So uh, that's the crazy thing about it. Like I didn't have to travel and meet people face to face, that we were able to do this via video conference.
yeah, it's crazy like how technology just how it bridges us, because like if this were, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, I don't even know when Zoom, came out, but 10, 15 years ago it definitely wouldn't be this easy to
Mhm.
have done this. But yeah, definitely shout out to you. I know that we were vibing over the whole media thing, and I've been a long time listener of your podcast, and we're going to get into that in just a moment. But just it was just a natural fit with what you did. So definitely it's been quite an honor just being on this road with you. So what impact do you think, or do you hope that that the Edupreneur has on any viewers?
I hope for those people who are interested in becoming an entrepreneur, that they learn about the things that they need to learn about. Dr. Jackson said in the documentary that there is no entrepreneur business canon for us to follow. So what we're doing is taking what other people outside of education are saying about how to run a business, synthesizing the information, try to make it to fit our field. And our field is very unique. And a lot of those practices they talk about won't work. And to have these people who are actually doing it and are successful, and to talk about how they did it, I hope people receive that education and understand how to better play the game. And for those who are already doing it but may not be seeing the next level of success, that they see how they're doing it and get a better idea of how they can sort of tweak some things in their own business in order to become more successful.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I know I learned a lot from watching it. And it's funny because like you never truly have the game figured out. There's always something new to learn. So just hearing everybody's tips just on their journey, what they found, it was incredibly insightful. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I feel lazy after watching that documentary. They hear the work they're talking. They're like, I do this and I do that. I'm on the road 30 weeks out of the year, and all. I'm like, I'm lazy, man. I need to
Oh
put in.
no.
I got to put some more work in. Because some people think you hear the quote unquote overnight success, but you may have that moment that sparks sort of quote unquote overnight growth and notoriety, but there's a lot of work, years of work that goes into that before that quote unquote boom moment. And people need to understand that, so even if they're struggling and they're like, man, I'm hitting the conference circuit, I'm writing these blog posts, I'm doing this, and I'm barely seeing any money in, or I'm not seeing any money in, I want them to go, your time is coming, just keep working.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like you're so right. There's definitely those moments that it might, that everything might click, but there's so much that goes into before that moment happens. So I love that you made that point. And I have to disagree with you. You are like one of the hardest working people I know. Like seriously. Every time I talk to you, you're just like, I just recorded this podcast. I just recorded this podcast. Like, how many do you do in a month? Like 12 or something, some kind of crazy
Uh,
number like
yeah,
that?
I do about 10. Yeah,
Yeah.
about 10 podcasts a month. Yeah.
Whew, I don't even know how you do it. I don't even know how you do it. But tell us about your podcast. Tell us about your show.
Well, before we do that, I want to ask you something
Okay.
about the documentary,
All
right?
right.
So Dr. Sarah edited the documentary. So when you sat down to look at the footage and you seeing all of these perspectives come in, and some of these people you actually know,
Right.
what jumped off at you from actually looking at the footage?
Oh my goodness. That is such a great question. So like you said, I do know a lot of the people on there to varying degrees. There's some people that, I might, every time we see each other, we might go, hang out, right? And there's some people that I might see them in the hallways at conferences. But most of the people that you interviewed, then I know them to some degree. So I want to say one thing that really stood out to me is with Abby, when she talked about being an introvert and how the struggle was real. I remember the very first time I met Abby was in 2015 at IPDX. So that's over in Portland. And I remember sitting in her session and just cracking up. And she said in her session, I'm an introvert. And I was just like, you are? I mean, she has such a command over the room. Just, she's working it and just so the very first time she said that, it blew my mind. But I mean, she really is, when you get to know her, she is genuinely an introvert. So it resonated with me when she talked about how she needed to make that time for herself, for self-care, because that's something that I struggle with, because I'm extremely introverted as well. And a lot of times I feel like I'm burning the candle at both ends sometimes, trying to be on 24/7. So to me, that was like one thing that really stuck out.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. What about you? What about you?
Wow, it literally. I'm still just like wow at the personal side of it because I never thought about that because that's something that I personally don't deal with. My wife is an educator and does a lot of things in her classroom with technology. So with all but one of my consulting gigs, my wife has come with me and actually worked with me in leading the sessions. So we're together. And so when I hear people go, wow, my spouse is, I gotta give them credit because they're taking on more work at home, raising the kids and doing these things. Or when I'm home, so I have to dedicate this time to my children because I am away. And then my child's like, oh, you're not going to be home for this? I'm like, wow, I just never thought about what it does to the family with people who do that much traveling.
Yeah, absolutely. That was super powerful. Uh, that was extremely powerful, and it was also a takeaway for I would say for all of us, family or not, just to have that time to be able to turn it off. I definitely agree with you. That was very, very important. But especially for folks with families and with kids and with spouses, just the need to be present. So I love that. So yeah, so going back to your podcast, because I know that
Mhm.
that a lot of them you might have met them through your podcast, perhaps.
Mhm.
So tell us what is the Dr. Will Show, and just give us like a synopsis of that and how it's evolved throughout the years.
Why interview educators and entrepreneurs on leveling up? It started out as me doing ed tech stuff. That's what I do for a living. But then I started every now and then I would sprinkle in some people who worked outside of education to talk about something that dealt with personal development. And last year, 2018 in December, I decided it was time to flip the script and pivot. I interviewed, oh my gosh, woo, Pernille P. Ripple. I interviewed her about her book, Passionate Readers. And then after that, I said, boom, here's the direction that I'm going in. It's been very successful, has resonated with a lot of people, whether they're old fans or new fans, but it has really reignited my love for podcasting. Education is cool. I love it. I love and enjoy having those conversations, but I can only have so many conversations about going one-to-one. But, talking to people about what is your life's purpose, as well as the whole business piece, because every person, they come to this game differently and they got the education differently. And hear how people sort of found their niche, or how are they dealing with the taxes, or when you're saying, hey, you've been doing this type of teaching for so many years, when you decided to become an edupreneur, how did you take all of this stuff that you as a teacher may teach, and condense it in a way to where you can actually package it and build a business off of? So it's always learning. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I am surprised that people are getting on my podcast and sharing this stuff, because we don't talk about money in education. And there are a lot of teachers who are still pushing back on the idea of a teacher brand or a teacher selling stuff. They're like, get that lesson plan away for free. We shouldn't be doing this. You don't listen. Everybody, you should never go into education thinking you're gonna be rich, because that's just not gonna happen. But you don't show up to your job for free. You know what I'm saying? As much as you think as education as a noble profession, no one shows up to work every day for free. You do get a check at the end of the month. And so I'm just wondering, why would you expect people in their own spare time to write lesson plans and units and give all of that stuff away for free and not be paid for it? Especially if you yourself are willing to go get a part-time job. So why wouldn't you, as your part-time job, your side hustle, do what you love to do, right? So if you love creating resources and materials, why wouldn't you not create resources and then sell those? And I'm not saying you need to sell this packet for $1,000, but if you are able to provide that impact to your fellow teachers that will benefit students, why not reap a financial benefit from it? So that's why I am now, is trying to educate the whole teacher, so to speak, but get them to really evaluate where they are in their career.
I definitely hear you on that. You make a very compelling case for that, Dr. Will. A very, very compelling case. All right. And speaking of compelling, then what advice would you give to any educator who is compelled to tell his or her story?
Understand what you want to say. I know it's cliche to say, be authentic, but be yourself. Don't run away from who you are. Don't be ashamed of your story, and just, be fearless in doing so, and bring everything that is about you. A lot of people we see on the stage sometimes who tweet and they write these books and do all these things, they don't come from a Title I school. And so their experience is valid, but it's from one perspective. And if you are that teacher, particularly a person of color, and you are teaching in that Title I school, and you are seeing students come in with the issues they have to face, and how you are using your classroom management, or how you are using culturally responsive teaching practices or equity, whatever you're doing, share that, bring it. If you talk about, hey man, I'm rocking braids because I want my kids to see that natural hair is beautiful, talk about that journey. If you're saying, hey man, my students, I don't see them reflected in the curriculum, they need to love themselves. If you're talking about, I'm bringing Malcolm X into the classroom, I'm bringing all these authors, talk about that. Share your story, share your journey, because all of those are important. And you're not going to win at this game if you are not being honest with yourself. You can only put up a facade for so long, So in order for you to just be free and be you, just bring everything you have to the table and don't be afraid of what other people may think. Because if they're not rocking with you anyway, it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? I tell people all the time, I'm not out here to sell water to people who aren't thirsty. So, be you and find the platform and the medium that is going to work for you. If you don't like doing video, I think video is dope. But if video is not your thing, writing is, then you write. If writing is not your thing and video is, make that video. If you love podcasting and you want to get out there with your voice, then do it, right? Just do what you love and push it and be consistent with your content, and then have a theme about it. You don't want to write about one day or do a video one day about this one thing, and then you throw them a curveball by this next week. Keep it in a consistent lane where you can build an audience where people can follow you. And whether or not you choose to take that to become a business, or you're just saying, hey, I just want to provide value to my colleagues, just make sure that you are consistent and have a single voice.
That was gold right there, Dr. Will. Thank you so much. That is that gold nugget. So love it. I'm here for all of it. So tell us about, what can we expect to see from you in the future? You have some big things popping as always. So what can we expect to see from you?
Well, I'm hoping we get an Edupreneur 2. I need to do some more writing. I definitely want. There's certain things I'm trying to stay out of because I don't know if I can provide certain value there. But there's some topics that are kind of piquing my interest on, and I'm trying to get better at online learning, right? So I love the whole digital space and how you can learn on the go on your own time. And so I'm actually building courses for our teachers for PD purposes. And I'm enjoying it, learning more about creating that guided course. So it's not just a PDF, a video, a PDF, a video, a PDF, a video, but okay, create this lesson plan. Oh, we just talked about how to create a Google Doc. Well, how about creating an in-class blogging assignment with the Google Doc? How about creating a interactive worksheet by taking a screenshot of a PDF you already have, changing the dimensions on the Google slide, embedding that bad boy to where it's the background, so it's not moving anywhere, putting in your text boxes where you can do things. And by the way, since it's there, why not combine putting links to where you can turn that bad boy into a hyperdoc type situation? So I'm just trying to get better at this stuff so that for my teachers, it's about transforming their thinking and understanding about how does technology change the classroom, and not just, okay, I'm going to use this for testing, I'm going to use this for remediation, or I'm going to use this to babysit kids. But since I can't keep them off the cell phone anyway, why not use this tool in a way to engage them where they own the learning?
I love that. The transformational learning opportunities and building that capacity among the educators. I love that, Dr. Will. That is amazing. So this conversation, just like all the others we have had, has been fire. So if people want to connect with you, where's the best way for them to find you?
Twitter at I am Dr. Will. I love it. That is my jam. Wrote my dissertation on it. I love it. I tell teachers all the time in my school, it's one of the best PD opportunities you'll ever get, because you get to learn on it whenever you want to, how you want to. So hit me up on Twitter. And if you are an entrepreneur, hit me up and tell me you want to be on the podcast so I can interview you, because I'm always looking for someone to tell their stories and drop gems.
That is awesome, Dr. Will. Well, thank you so much for taking the time out to chat with us today. It was a pleasure as always. So really excited to get this out on Facebook as well as on our podcast, which you all can find on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, all of the places. So just check us out. So be sure to get your copy of the Edupreneur. You can find it at videos.edumatch.org/the Edupreneur. And it's truly inspiring and eye-opening, and you get to learn a lot. I know I did through the Edupreneur. So I wanted to kick it over to Dr. Will if you had any closing thoughts for our guests.
Hey, enjoy this life, people, and enjoy your talents and embrace them and go out there and live your best life.
Love it. Love it. So definitely echoing that. And just wanted to remind you all that next week we are going to have a Tweet and Talk, same bad time. Well, different bad time, 6 p.m. Eastern. Same bad channel, podcast with an s.edumatch.org/tweet talk. And we're going to have Leslie Anaya, who will be moderating a conversation on National Board Certified Teaching. So if you want to be part of that discussion, you can find us at podcast with an s.edumatch.org/sign up, where you can find that episode as well as a series of others where you can sign up to be part of our video panel. Just a reminder, if you get robocalls from someone claiming to be EduMatch, just a reminder, it is not us. So go to our website, edumatch.org, where you can find information on how you can report this to the FCC and help us in battling this. That's been a nuisance to people everywhere, including us. So definitely help report it, or if someone comes to you and says that they've been getting calls from EduMatch, just let them know, hey, it's not Sarah the teacher. This is somebody who has illegally used our name. So anyway, on that note, this podcast will be out shortly. So definitely subscribe, rate it, and thank you all so much for your time and for watching. So see you all next time.